We are very pleased this Sunday because we interviewed a friend of ours, Barbara Sanchez. She got accredited with us, and it's a beautiful interview. So let's get to it.
Have a listen.
Good morning, everyone. This is Sissa, and I am here with the beautiful Barbara, and and she's a holistic health coach and a cacao ceremonialist. Ceremonialist. I hope I am saying that right. And she's based in New York. Barbara, on behalf of Mark, I would love to thank you for being here with us today. He couldn't be with us, but he is very happy that you accepted to to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so, would you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
Good morning, everybody. So my name is Barbara, and I am a holistic health coach, focusing specifically on trauma and how trauma affects the body and all the symptoms and the root cause of trauma. And I am also a cacao ceremonialist, which essentially means that it's hard to explain it to people. It's like it's really in depth, but basically what it is, it's a spiritual practice where you honor the plant medicine because cacao in Central and South America is considered foods of the gods. So it's essentially used to have conscious gatherings where we set intentions, we can meditate, affirmations when there's a new moon, like all these different things to honor and invoke whatever it is that you need. So that's essentially what the venture that I'm into right now and what I do.
That is wonderful. Sounds like something that I want to be a part of. Definitely. Next time I'm in New York or you're in California, we'll definitely get together. And how is it that you got into this?
Well, coaching, really, it's going to be a year actually when I dove into what coaching even was, and I got educated on it, and I did my training. I started in August. So August of 2019, I joined IAN. I don't know if you're familiar with IAN.
No.
It's called the Integrated Nutrition School. So it's how to become a health coach. So you focus on nutrition or all these different aspects, but it really entails dealing with nutrition. So I started that journey, and then I found TCM, and I just felt like both of them combined went perfectly together, and that's where we met. And after that, it was really just a learning discovery to see what type of coaching I wanted to do, what in my toolbox was I going to pull out and be like, this is the path that I want to go on right now. So I was really focused on the nutrition aspect of things, but now after learning what it is to be a cacao facilitator and hold space and really just dive into the spiritual community and the spiritual realm of healing, especially very Ayurvedic and very Eastern medicine based. So it's kind of like as I've been healing myself, I'm picking up tools here and there and gaining more clarity on who I want to help, the way I want to go. So that's really, I guess, just a shorter, simpler answer is, as I've been healing, it's like the more that I've been able to dive deep into exactly like what I want to do and what it is that I'm creating. So
that is beautiful. Wonderful. And let's talk a little bit about your healing. So I know it's a touchy subject and delicate subject. It's always hard to bring it up, but it does help a lot of people to get through whatever they are battling with. To hear from other people who have been through the same situation and who have come out stronger and are still moving on.
Right.
So if you can just shine some light on on your healing journey, what you went through, how you overcame it.
Well, oh, it's I'm gonna shorten it. Um, I definitely would say that for me, coming from a broken home, not only that, just being completely uprooted because I was born in America, but then I moved out of the country until I was 4. Yeah, I left when I was 4, and then I had to come back to the States when I was 11. But in those years, I was raised in South America. My childhood was there. My first language was Spanish, and, having my parents split up and, the effects of what that has like on a child, especially, being uprooted and kind of like night and day kind of change. And now having been able to have this space to work through that or to process through that. Um, that was really where it started, where as a result, emotionally, my mom was very distraught. She wasn't able to be the mother that I needed emotionally because she had to take on the role of being both mother and father to provide financially. So as a result, I took on those traits to emotionally protect myself, protect her, and my younger sibling. So from feeling like kind of also when you are from a different race and you raise somewhere else, you kind of mature a little bit faster. And I'm sure you can relate, being from Brazil and everything, it's different than when you're raised here in America. So taking on that role and really not being allowed to express my feelings, even to have the right words to say them, from that, like what it led to was, how it goes, you kind of try to pick one thing that you can control, that makes you feel safe, the coping mechanisms that we learn as children how to survive. For me, it became food. And I remember being 10 years old and being really aware of my body and not liking myself. And I started looking at magazines and comparing what I was seeing to like all these like beautiful like thin women, and really feeling like I shouldn't eat. So as a result, I developed an eating disorder. I was first anorexic, and then I became bulimic. And dealing with that, and as a result also developing anxiety and depression, and really not knowing what to call it, or what it was, or even the words for it, it really led me down a really dark path where I just, like lack of decision making skills, like all these different things that really really kept me in a place where I was like kind of like frantic all the time and very angry. And then maybe around, I would say, when I was 18, when I went to college, I think that for me was like this really rude awakening. And give me 1 second. Oops, that's not what it is coming in. Sorry. It was a rude awakening that I was just like, I'm not happy. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. This doesn't feel right. I I don't know where I'm going, and really having that awareness that something was wrong was always with me from a very young age. I didn't have the words to explain what was going on. And then I found myself, in my second university. I had changed my major 3 times already and feeling completely alone. And, I was doing things to like dishonor my body. I was like drinking, I was smoking, I was just doing things that weren't serving me whatsoever. And then finally, at one point, literally, I think my aha moment was laying on the bathroom floor, crying, asking, like, God, like, I am not asking you to make this easy for me. I'm just asking you to make this possible. I don't know what way I'm supposed to go, but I just need something. And from that moment on, God bless my mom, who kind of forced me to come back home because I went away for university, forcing me to come back home, and me really coming back. And I took like a 6-month hiatus where all I did was just go to school, come back home, go to the gym, and cry. That was all I did for like 6 months straight. I didn't talk to anybody. I really just isolated myself and was with myself. And that's when I decided to go to therapy. I remember I just Googled online, like therapist in New York City, whatever. And I found my therapist. I liked her picture. I liked her location. I didn't know much about her. And I just started going. And at first I kept it a secret. Nobody knew I was going. And then at the same time, I discovered plant-based eating. And it was really through plant-based eating right at that time that it wasn't so much about the food. It was more about the health benefits. And it's kind of like as I was feeding my body, nourishing my body differently, I started having compassion for my body, gratitude for my body. I felt this deep connection to the earth and to like the universe, and just I can't describe this just feeling of love that started to like overwhelm me, like love for myself and love for people and the planet and animals. And it was in that moment where I had made the decision, even like unaware of self, that this was it. That like this helped me so much with my eating disorder. I wasn't having problems eating anymore. And just overall, like with my anxiety and my depression, as I dove deeper into it, the more it started going away. But obviously, we're human and it's really hard to destroy like beliefs that you grew up with that are brewed for years. So I would relapse and then come back again, relapse and come back again. And really, I think that what really just kind of like catapulted 6-7 years of self-development was COVID happening, my grandma passing away from COVID, and it just really showing me what true strength is and what true perseverance is. And also, it was kind of like, how can I describe it? It was the thing that needed to happen for me to actually see, like, physically all the work that I've been putting in. Kind of like I saw the fruit of my labor when she passed away, because of how I handled it, because of how it has manifested such beautiful things in my life. And I am someone that never really dealt well with loss. I just, like, any type of loss, I just was not the kind of person that was able to handle it in a positive way. And this loss, which would be considered a massive one, very impactful one, the way that I look at it, I see the beauty of the cycle of a person's life, from beginning to end. And then what happens after we die, and whatever you believe in, that's totally personal. But for me, it's this connection that I still have to her, and this honor for her life. And because I want to honor her life, I'm able to live more authentically my own life and my own truth and my own freedom. So that really for me was like the pivotal point, that it really like kind of like catapulted me when I was right about to cross the finish line of this part of like my self-development and my healing, and then ready to enter a new phase, whatever that entails. That I really feel like it's what woke me up. Like I needed to be shaken, and it woke me up even more. So that's really like it, that I would say that's like the peak of my healing and where I am right now.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, you've been through a lot. And for such a young woman that you are,
It's a lot.
oh, what a blessing. It's a beautiful awareness that you have, beautiful growth, and the path that you are at right now, your self-work, self-discovery. I mean, it's a journey that never really ends, right? It only helps us grow and grow and grow and just keep evolving and just keep, it truly helps us just understand ourselves more and understand others more. And dealing with death, especially when it's a member of the family, someone who's especially close to us, is never easy. But it definitely teaches us a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, understanding the cycle of life, it is incredibly beautiful, because thankfully, um, she wasn't the one who watched you pass away, because
Right.
that's not natural. And,
Right.
and it is the natural cycle of life to, be born, live through your life, and die at an old age. So,
Right.
so yes, it's beautiful that she had a beautiful life. She had a beautiful family, and God permit, she's in a beautiful place, and I know she is. So thank you for sharing that. And your problem with, you know, you said you were anorexic and you were bulimic. How do you? So you really think that was rooted in um, what you suffered, the separation of your parents? What do you think really caused that? How was your mentality back then when you had to move from the States?
I mean, for me, it was you know, I guess back when I was living in South America in Ecuador, there was really no emphasis on like on what our bodies look like. Like at least for me at that time, at that age, it wasn't like media wasn't really big. It was a small town and everything. Like, it was still a little bit underdeveloped. So media didn't fully like it reached it, but it did not have the impact that it does here in America. Like it's completely different. So I never really thought about my body image until I moved to the States. And, watching TV, being plastered with like, magazines and ads and all these different things. And also, I was a little bit on the chunkier side growing up. So, you have like comments from family members that they assume are harmless. But, when you're little, you're a sponge. You observe everything and you start questioning everything. And, at that time, like really not having a strong female figure in my life or a male figure in my life, I was kind of off to like fend for myself and go based on what I saw on the media, kind of. And I remember the first time that I really understood what it meant to like not eat, right? And not feed your body, and knowing that you can lose weight as a result, and that models did it, and like all these different things. And just being curious to just try like what it would feel like. And I remember being so young and loving the thrill of it, that this was mine. This was the only thing in my life that I had control over. That was mine, that nobody could take from me, that nobody needed to know. It was just like my secret, because I was able to keep it for a secret for a very long time, that nobody really, noticed. And because I was losing weight, all the comments I got were, oh my God, like you're getting so skinny, losing the baby weight, this and that. And I remember thinking, this is good. Like these comments are good. And really loving the comments that I was getting, and the fact that I was wearing smaller clothes and all these different things. It was kind of like this high. And from that, I think when finally like people caught on to what I was doing and the comments started, I started eating again, little by little. But I remember the first time where I had to integrate back eating again, and kind of like the test for like my family, my doctor, to see like my eating patterns. I remember sitting down and then putting just I think it was like 2 chocolate chip cookies or something like that in front of me to see if I would eat it, and then a couple of grapes. And I remember having like a meltdown because I didn't want to. And then I remember that like the days before, the way that I would eat, it would be like 1 or 2 crackers, like really just really controlling it. And in that moment, like when they actually realized, oh my God, no, like this is a problem, I remember being so aware that what I needed to do was to just kind of like fool them, like let them know, like eat a little bit here and there, and that then they were going to get off my back and I was going to be okay. And for a while it worked. And then what came over me was this need that I needed to eat. Like I wanted to eat. So then I would start eating a lot in a lot of quantities. And then when I would feel that I kind of crossed the limit of how much I should have eaten, I would go and I would purge. And then I remember even finding like laxatives in my mom's like medicine cabinet and taking some and being like 12 years old, like taking laxatives, like that's normal. And just going through like this really like destructive pattern, and this need, that sense of control that it gave me, it was so rooted so deeply that then when I did become vegan, I became orthorexic, which I don't know if you're familiar with it, because not a lot of people are.
No,
Orthorexic
I've
is
never even heard of it.
oh, it's okay. Orthorexic is basically where you are so well informed of food and nutrition and all these different things that you start really micromanaging, and then the idea of eating anything that's considered not healthy, like it causes you a lot of like distress and pain in the body. So that's why when you have an eating disorder, labels are not the healthiest thing to have, because it creates this sense of control, this sense of guilt and shame, and whatever. So yeah, so that's that. It goes back to that sense of control, and for me as a child, it was the only thing that I could control. And now it's like I still work on it every day, but it's a lot better than it used to be like years ago.
I see. And you mentioned a therapist. Were you able to pull yourself out, um, or alone from this whole problem, or did you have to look for help to come out of this?
When it came to my eating disorder, it was pretty much me on my own, because I carried so much shame with it, and it just felt like it was just my thing, like this is mine, that even when I was in therapy, I never talked about it until maybe a couple of months ago. That I just shared it with her, that I just became open. It's really just this year that I've become open about my eating disorder, that it's been with me since I was 10, because I really thought that everybody felt this way about food. Like I thought it was normal, but it's not.
I see. And so what is something that you think that is very important for any listener out there to know about this, this whole problem with eating disorder? So what is something you can tell them to encourage them to come out of it, or to not even consider it?
I think that the big thing to know and to understand is that 100% healing from it, it's not possible. It's not. Like just like anything we go through in life, 100% healing, no, it's just not. But 100% acceptance that this is not you, but it is a part of you. That you can accept it, that you can tolerate it, that you can speak to it, that you can be kind to it, and understand that, it was there because at a time you needed it to survive. You needed it to find love. You needed it for some type of reason to keep you safe. And you can acknowledge that and give love to that version of yourself that you were when this began. That's what I do, And in that, and knowing that, some days are going to be challenging. Some days you're going to have an amazing day when you don't even think about food. And just appreciate those moments, appreciate the moments where the days are really bad. That's all you can think about, because there's learning in that. When you sit with those feelings that come up, that's what makes you stronger. That's what builds resistance, and that what starts telling your body that it's safe to eat, that it's safe to not have to know or be aware of everything that you're eating. And also like really be an observer of your thoughts, what comes up when you eat something, journal on it, write on it. And the biggest takeaway for me from this whole journey that I've learned of how to deal with my eating disorder is finding such a deep sense of gratitude for what it is that I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
Thanking it, blessing my food. That way when I take my first bite, all I feel like I'm eating is just all the gratitude and the love that I just put on my plate.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And do you think that it is possible for someone to not even consider going through all that? Like, is there any given moment, before you took on the decision to have control over something, which you said this is kind of that was your mentality when you began to to hurt yourself. Do you think it's possible to avoid it? Like, is there a way to, like, I don't know, it was it conscious done? What did you just, like, I don't know, one day just, oh my gosh, what am I doing to myself? How did I get here? Like, can you talk to someone about it before it starts?
Before the problem starts. I feel like that has a lot to do with your genetics, your upbringing, um, your environment, who you're, whether or not you have strong figures in your life, people that are aware of you, people that can pay attention to you and watch you and see if something is going on. Because, people are very different and people respond to different parts of life, of humanity, what we experience completely differently. Like, I have a younger brother. My story of of our life is a lot different than his because of, who we are. Then you have, the tie and the wound to, like, whether it's the masculine wound or the feminine wound. It's just so much deeper than, I would say, like, just making just the decision to do something. I mean, it can be, but, I feel like in my case, there was a lot of outside factors that made me the perfect target for something like this to develop. Could it have been differently? Maybe if my mother was present, maybe, I don't know. But I think that, if you are more of an older age and you feel these things coming up, because you can develop this at any time in your life, all it takes is just a certain trigger to activate something inside of us, is to really seek help and to speak up and to share when these, like, dark thoughts start coming up, talking about it, finding a safe space to do so. Because if you can do that, then you can really, avoid yourself, like, years of going down this really ugly rabbit hole. But, if that's the beautiful thing when you do become older, you have more sense of an awareness, you know more life. But when you're a child, it's kind of like you're left for people to take care of you. And sometimes people can, and that's okay. But it's, it really depends. I feel there's so many factors to something like this happening, you know?
Yes, that is very true. Yes, 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 you're so right. Um, Another thing that, on a lighter note, also, um, I remember we have talked before, and so you told me that you have had, your share of bad relationships. We don't have to go into it, but now on a lighter note, like I said, you just tell us how you're doing now. So, you become a coach, and yes, and you seem so, so lively. So, I don't know, like, you're so young and you're such an inspiration already. So tell us a little bit about you now.
Feel like everything I've gone through, I would go through it all over again if it led me right to this very moment having this conversation with you. Because I really truly believe that life happens for us. And, I am spiritual and I do believe in God as well. That in order for us to be who we have to be, sometimes we need to be molded. And like a diamond, you're molded under pressure. Like, no mud, no lotus. like all these different expressions of that you sometimes have to suffer in order for beautiful things to come into your life, because through suffering you're able to like empathize with so many people and relate to so many people and really serve others in ways that people who have been blessed to not have experienced suffering in their life really can't. So for me, like where I'm at is I feel so much love for the world, for people, for myself. And I feel, happiness and sadness is fleeting. It's typically based on like outside circumstances. But I really wake up every morning with this deep sense of joy and gratitude inside my heart that I can't even explain it. So every day I wake up happy. And people are like, oh, like that's like you're full of ish. And I'm like, no, like I literally wake up happy every morning because I'm grateful that I'm like, okay, I'm here another day. God has blessed me with this, and I have another opportunity to grow and to learn and to really share my gifts with the world, with my mission and my purpose. And really is I'm like in a state of bliss. The more clarity I get, the more things are revealed for me. I've always been someone that I don't have a problem doing the work or doing the nitty gritty, like going down to like the ugly parts of who we are as people. And as a result, it's really given me like such beautiful things in my life, beautiful people, beautiful experiences. So like overall, like I am in a sense of gratitude and like awe of like all the abundance in the world, like every single day.
That
Why?
is that is beautiful. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say thank you. I was like, yeah, I'm like, it's really, like our hardships really, really make us who we are. Like they shape us, they make us better people. I mean, in the moment, does it suck? 100%. But afterwards, the growth, the lessons that come out of it are really like magical.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That was so beautiful. Yes, beautiful awareness, beautiful journey. And I know that there is so much more coming your way and a lot of success too. You're a beautiful, beautiful young lady. I talk like I'm super old, but oh, I can't hear you anymore. You're muted for some reason.
Hear me?
There. What did you say?
How much older than me?
Yeah, not that much older. But thank you so much for this brilliant interview. It was wonderful to have you here. I hope you have a. I cannot hear you again.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there. Yes. I don't know. The sound keeps coming in and out. But, but yes, thank you. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll talk. Bye. And we're back.
Wow. So firstly, thank you to Barbara for taking the time out to the interview. Really, really powerful, moving stuff, I think. And I've heard a lot over time of like celebrities that have been through suffer from eating disorders and stuff like that. And it's the thing that really sticks with me is the fact that how kind of you've always got it. Even you can have it at a young age, it's always with you. And it's that, I guess there's that constant fear or worry that you could slip back into an old habit or something. So, wow, it's quite something, isn't it? It's remarkable, really, to be able to pull yourself out of it. So, yeah.
Exactly. It's a constant battle. And yes, so many women especially go through this. I guess because of all the pressure on us to always look slim, to always look like, the supermodels. On magazines, we see women with beautiful bodies. And so this is this is how little girls are growing up, and they want to achieve that, that beauty status or whatever. And so they sometimes tap into that. And when parents aren't paying attention, when nobody's paying attention, it's going they're going through it, and it's very dangerous because
Yeah.
sometimes it does lead to death. But so if you who are watching is going through this, please, please, please see if you can talk to anybody about this. Know that you can come out of it, and it will be a battle, but do something about it.
Absolutely. It's interesting because it was only quite recent that I came across these apps which can literally totally change the image, the photo. If you take a photo, they can like give you abs and like make you order and all this sort of stuff. And you're absolutely right. Magazines, social media, the pressure that's on people, and half of these people that we see in mainstream media don't even look like they do on those magazine covers anyway. Yeah, it's just constant pressure, isn't it? I don't know what the answer is to that, but hopefully at some point, sometime, the powers that be will change the legislation and stuff. But it's scary stuff. But you're absolutely right. You must talk. You must talk out and reach out for help. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with this, we end our show today. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, everybody. And don't forget that if you want to get on our show and you think you've got something which will benefit us, then get in contact with one of us. That's right, isn't it?
Please do. All right. Bye.